बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभ जय गोपी जनवल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. My screen. Your Sri Krishna Prabhuji is here. Prabhuji, please I'll stop sharing and you can.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please continue. I'm just taking prasadam in the temple. 5 minutes. I'll be ready.
Okay, Prabhuji, no problem. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandapranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. So I'll recite the Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshuram Nilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadadi Snapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैतगदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna devotees, and while Prabhuji joins, maybe we can recite the shloka. Anyone would like to recite the shloka?
Yes, Prabhuji, I can try. Our devotees don't pranam all shloka badum. শুভ ফলর এবং মোক্ষয়স্যে কর্ম বন্ধনা সন্ন্যাস যোগ উক্তাত্মা বিমুক্ত মাম উপস্যসি Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anyone else would like to try? Okay.
I can try, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः संन्यासयोगमुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि. Hare Krishna.
Very well. Okay, I can also try. शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धना संन्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो माम् उपैष्यसि. So, anybody would like to read the synonyms and translation?
I can do, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Shubha from auspicious, Ashubha and inauspicious, following results, Ebam, thus, Mokshaishe, you will become free, Karma of war, Bandho, knowing from the bondage, Sannasa of renunciation, Yoga, the yoga, Yukta Atma, having the mind firmly set on, Vimukta, liberated, Mam, to me, Upoishashi, you will attain. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Anybody would like to read the purport?
I can read, Prabhuji. If somebody else wants to read, please go ahead.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. One who acts in Krishna consciousness under superior direction is called Yukta. The technical term is Yukta Vairagya. This is further explained by Rupa Goswami as follows. Anasaktya Visayan Yathartha Upayuknjateh Nirbandhanah Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.255. Rupa Goswami says that as long as we are in this material world, we have to act. We cannot cease acting. Therefore, if actions are performed and the fruits are given to Krishna, then that is called Yukta Vairagya. Actually situated in renunciation, such activities clear the mirror of the mind, and as the actor gradually makes progress in spiritual realization, he becomes completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, at the end, he becomes liberated, and this liberation is also specified. By this liberation, he does not become one with the Brahma Jyotir, but rather enters into the planet of the Supreme Lord. It is clearly mentioned here, Mam Upasyasi. He comes to me, back home, back to Godhead. There are 5 different stages of liberation, and here it is specified that the devotee who has always lived his lifetime here under the direction of the Supreme Lord, as stated, has evolved to the point where he can, after quitting this body, go back to Godhead and engage directly in the association of the Supreme Lord. Anyone who has no interest but to dedicate his life to the service of the Lord is actually sannyasi. Such a person always thinks of himself as an eternal servant, dependent on the supreme will of the Lord. As such, whatever he does it for the benefit of the Lord. Whatever action he performs it as a service to the Lord. He does not give serious attention to the fruitive activities or prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. For ordinary persons, it is obligatory to execute the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. But although a pure devotee who is completely engaged in the service of the Lord may sometimes appear to go against the prescribed Vedic duties, actually it is not so. It is said, therefore, by Vaishnava authorities that even the most intelligent person cannot understand the plans and activities of a pure devotee. The exact words are Tantra Vakya तंत्र वाक्य क्रिया मुद्रा विजनहा न भुज बुझया. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 23.39. A person who is thus always engaged in the service of the Lord, or is always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord, is to be considered completely liberated at present, and in the future his going back home, back to Godhead, is guaranteed. He is above all materialistic criticism, just as Krishna is above all criticism. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. From what I'm understanding over here, Prabhupada is explaining that somebody who is who is engaged in Krishna consciousness, he is linking his work, and everything that he is doing is not to get his own personal benefit or own pleasure. He's planning and doing every activity for the pleasure of Krishna, and also renouncing the fruits of those activities for Krishna, and offering it to Krishna as service. So that devotee is said to be liberated even starting now. And there are 5 stages of that liberation. I'm not sure, Prabhupada has not explained in this one what the 5 stages are, but he's explaining that bhakta's um, activities, even though in the material eyes it may appear as if it's a mundane activity, but really all that the person is trying to do is to please Krishna, and so it cannot be judged by ordinary, just like a ordinary person, like Krishna's Rasa Leela, right? That is not a boy and girl's milan, right? It is the milan of Atma and Paramatma. But a person who does not understand will have that dosh of viewing it in the wrong, and not understanding it really fully, truly. So similarly, the activities of a pure devotee, they cannot be understood by ordinary people. And even though in the mundane eyes it may appear as if he's going against the Vedas, he's beyond those rules, because in his heart all he's trying to do is to please Krishna, and that devotee's return to Krishna is guaranteed. Prabhupada is explaining. I think I understood this much, Rahiji. If you can explain it. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Sri Krishna Prabhu is back.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhu, please also share.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji, as Mataji wonderfully explained, you know, Rupa Goswami also says that as long as we are in this material world, we have to act. But how we have to act is, we have to act everything in the service of Krishna. Like, whatever we do, all that should go, as a sacrifice to Krishna, and that is called Yukta Vairagya. So anything in renunciation activities, I mean, whatever we do, I mean, we eat, before we eat, we offer the bhoga, and then we eat in that way. And 5 kinds of liberation, I think Mataji was Sarupya, Salokya, Sayujya, and Samipya, like, living in the same, abode of Lord Krishna, and near to Lord Krishna, and one is also that Brahma Jyotir, even that is also there. Samipya, Salokya, I mean, same loka. Anyone who has no interest, but they are always in the dedicated their life to the Lord. So such devotees are called sannyasa, because they are not dependent for them. They are not doing anything for them. They are just doing for the sake of seva. And Prabhupada also mentions how does this process works by cleansing, like when one is situated in renunciation, like cleansing such activities, clear how we clear the mind in the mirror of our mind, and then gradually progress in the spiritual realization. And then, surrender comes, complete surrender onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, and then the liberation comes at the end. And then, of course, we are all, as we say, five kinds of liberation. But even though Brahmajyoti is there, but the devotees don't, tend to go that they want to be, in Krishna's service. In fact, we devotees don't even want liberation. They are always want to be in the seva of the Lord, irrespective of where they are. And the real sannyasi is one who is always in Krishna consciousness. So the practical application is the, devotees are always in the service of the Lord. Some devotees are serving in the temple, some are serving in the kitchen, some are distributing the books, some are, so every part, everyone has their role. Yes, a pure devotee doesn't mind what they were, as long as, Srila Prabhupada said that he did all the things for Krishna, and he said that he is going to different planets to elevate the souls over there. And that's my understanding. Prabhuji, please add a question. Then. Prabhuji, you're on mute.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Subal Prabhuji. Thank you very much for sharing the thoughts. The Mataji who shared before, I know her by face, but I'm forgetting her name.
Shalini
Um,
Mataji.
um, Shalini Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Shalini Mataji. Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for sharing your thoughts. Very nicely you mentioned, like the 5 stages of liberation. Rather than stages, I think Prabhupada is mentioning as stages, the 5 kinds of liberation. So which Subal Prabhu already stated. so so those are basically the 5 different ways how devotees only aspire for 4 different liberations. The fifth one, the merging into Brahmajyoti, the devotees does not aspire. So the other 4, Salopya, Sarupya, and then Samipya, and there is
Sasti.
Sayujya,
Sasti.
Sashti. Yeah, Sashti. So those 4 the devotees aspire. And Sayujya Mukti, that's merging into Brahmajyoti, the devotees, they do not like it, because there is no relationship, there is no rasa in that, kind of liberation. So, so in this chapter, it's a beautiful chapter where there are many, many important verses come in this chapter. The famous chapter, Patram Pushpam Phalam Thoyam, that Prabhupada used to always quote, that verse is there. And right after the verse, Krishna is actually saying that whatever you do, whatever you accept, whatever you offer, and whatever sacrifices, austerities that you perform, everything you do as an offering to me, tad kurushva madarpanam. So, so here, basically, this is the yukta vairagya that Prabhupada, in the next verse also, Krishna is elaborating. But so actually, this is, in essence, this verse, Krishna, at the end of this chapter, he just makes it more practical. When you say whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, then in a practical way, how does it reciprocates with Krishna's love? That Krishna is explaining at the end. Because we have this body, mind, and words. So then Krishna says, you always think of me. So the mind, how to use the mind by thinking of Krishna, and then you pay obeisances unto me, you become my devotee. That way you always live. You will easily come to me. And so Krishna practically is just giving at the end of this chapter. So, but then if you look at this, whatever you eat, Krishna already told in the previous verse, So what to eat, like patram pushpam phalam toyam, a leaf, a fruit, or water. Water specifically means Ganga. Prabhupada mentions the Ganga water, and leaf also like specifically means tulsi leaf. But we also offer all kinds of leaves, saak, and all the vegetables and all that. So fruits and grains, they are also produce of plants. So we are also offered to Krishna and accepted. So like that, what to eat, Krishna already mentioned, and what you do offer and give away, charity basically is gone. We emphasize, Prabhupada used to emphasize that in those days, people used to have a dedicated amount of charity for religious organizations, especially Sanatan Dharma principles, 50% of their income. But in Kali Yuga, it's not possible. At least we can try as much as possible to have for some charity, because we are grahasthas, we have earnings, so we should give some charity to ISKCON. That way our earnings also be purified, because when we earn, the wealth that we earn also gets mixed up with the other aspects of papa. It has some mixture, so that way when we offer it to spiritual activities, that gets purified. And austerities, what kind of austerities we can perform in Kali Yuga? We cannot perform a lot of austerities. Bare minimum, we should perform at least, stay 4 regulative principles. And then, that 4 regulative principles, along with chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, devotees, we perform these kind of austerities along with the Ekadeshi Vrata and Krishna Janmashtami. So those minimum austerities, that we just give it as an offering to Krishna. So like that, now Krishna is just going on to, giving the essence of why he's saying this. Why am I asking all this? Krishna doesn't need anything. Krishna is actually, he is the source of all in the whole creation. Why does he have to ask anything? Offering. He doesn't want any offering from us, but by offering that, we will be free from all the bondage from auspicious and inauspicious results. So here the crux of why he's asking, that is being explained. So so generally when somebody asks something in the material world, you know because they lack, that's why they ask. But whatever Krishna asks, it's because of our own benefit. So he wants to give something to us. He does not want to take anything. So similarly, so here, this karma bandhanaha. So karma bandhanaha is basically a bondage of karmic reactions. It's like a chain of karmic reactions that we are bound. It's like the spider web. When you see the spider web, how complex it is, we cannot actually understand where it starts, where it ends, how the intertwine happened. It's very beautifully made. It looks very beautiful, but once you go inside, the insect get caught. It's not able to come outside. So similarly, the karma is so complex that we do one thing and then the other thing happens. And we do other thing, then the other thing happens. It becomes a chain of reactions that we get caught in between. So it could be auspicious, it could be inauspicious. So that's why one time I met one one Prabhupada disciple. He was explaining about Bhagavad Gita, and then he said, what is the difference between an ordinary Brahmana and a Vaishnava? And then people kept on saying so many answers. And finally, he said, a Vaishnava rejects auspicious and inauspicious both. And I was shocked to hear that finally. And then he said, he rejects both, and then he takes complete shelter of Krishna. So, because in this world, the so called auspicious results also have baggage in it, meaning that when you do auspicious things, not bhakti, but when you do some, say, the pious activities, you also get good karma. And by that good karma, you also have to take a lot of results, good results, and that for that good results, you have to take birth, and you have to have a certain kind of karma. So that is why he said the Vaishnavas, they reject both auspicious and inauspicious, and they give everything to Krishna. That way, they always become free from karma bandhanaha. So in the third chapter, also Krishna says that yajnartata karma anyatro lokayam karma bandhanaha tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sanga samachara. So this karma is it actually bonds, bondage. It just ties. It's like the three ropes, tying. So when they make a strong rope, they just make three threads and make like a knot. Again, they make three of that and make like a knot. It just intertwined like so strong. So like that, this karma bandhana, how to become free from that, Krishna also gives in the third chapter. So yajnatat karma anyatra lokayam karma bandhanaha tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sangha. That when the same results is offered to Krishna, then you become free. So that is what Arjuna also did. Arjuna being a warrior, what could he offer results to Krishna? He just offered those people he killed. He said, Krishna, I'm killing for you because you asked me to fight. So I don't want to get complicated with this, all this, uh, the sinful reactions. So even the warrior, when he warrior on behalf of the state or country, if he fights the war, even killing can be a service. So because he's fighting on behalf of the country, similarly, when we do everything on behalf of Krishna, everything turns into service and all of the karmas gets vanished. So what happens? The Vimuktaman Upashyashi. So Krishna basically is freeing us from all the karma bondage, and he is giving liberating us from those results, auspicious and inauspicious results. So Prabhupada beautifully explains here that how Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu definition of what is Yukta Vairagya. So Yukta Vairagya, I think we already discussed several times. So somebody may have just a small house. Somebody may have a big house. Somebody may have a mansion. Somebody may have a small car or a Ferrari or a Benz. So whatever they have, they possess only that much they have. That much they can say I possess. But they cannot say that I possess like the whole creation, right? The whole creation doesn't belong to them. So when they renounce, what they can renounce whatever they have. But the Jivatma's desire is to have the whole creation. Like if you look at the desire of a Jivatma, they want the whole creation. They are not satisfied with something tangible like that can be held like a material thing. What they want is a spiritual satisfaction or spiritual enlightenment, right? So for that, because we are not this body, we are soul. The spirit soul wants such kind of happiness, that anandam buddhivardhanam, this is like the unlimited happiness. So the material world, there is nothing unlimited. Like so, everything is limited. So that's why the material greed, like keep people take more and more and more. They are not satisfied. So how to come to the other side of unlimited happiness is this surrendering everything to Krishna and obtaining that the love of Godhead, which can actually complete them. So in Isha Upanishad, Krishna's the verse it says that Isavashyam idam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. Sorry, Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avasishyate. So Krishna is complete and we are also complete because we are part and parcel of Krishna. So Krishna is Purnam and the Jivatma is also Purnam as long as we cooperate with Krishna. But when we get separated, we feel that we are material and we have to achieve that Purnam state by achieving more and more wealth. But that is never complete. So that's why, so the Yukta Vairagya is basically meaning that we have to offer everything in the service of Krishna and come to that the union of Bhakti Yoga. So through Bhakti Yoga, we become complete again. We become again filled with that hankering of unlimited happiness, so that Krishna can actually award to us. So basically, Krishna is not asking, Krishna is trying to give that the Bhakti Yoga to us so that we again become in union with Krishna. So we also become that happiness that we are hankering after. So here Prabhupada explains that Rupa Goswami's Yukta Vairagya principle. So he's saying by this liberation, he does not become one with the Brahmajyoti, but rather enters into the planet of Supreme Lord. So as the Vaishnavas are very much they hanker after the relationship with the Supreme Lord, the relationship with the other Vaishnavas. So one time Prabhupada was asked this question, um, Prabhupada, why we should not aspire to merge into the Lord, like that one lady was asking. So and then Prabhupada just explained like very basic how this feeling of merging is basically not a good state for devotees. So, for example, in the material world, a mother and father, the father gives the seed and the mother gives the childbirth. So basically, the child says again that, mother, I'm not satisfied with the life. I'm very frustrated. Please again take me into your womb. I don't want to live. So if somebody says like this, the mother cannot facilitate. Basically, this is a frustration. But on the other side, a child says, Mother, you've given me life, you've given me this body. I would like to serve you in the best way possible. Please tell me how I can serve you, how I can be in love with you. This is the positive side. On the frustration side, he wants to enter into the mother's womb. But the mother being a material body, she cannot do it. But Lord is spiritual, he can do it. So when somebody is frustrated, Lord, I don't want to actually have a separate existence. I want to again merge into your body. Then the Lord makes an arrangement of Sayujya Mukti. So you just merge into the Brahma Jyoti because Lord is Purnam, is completely spiritual. He can have that kind of facility for those jivas who are frustrated with a separate existence. But for devotees, that is like a suicide. They don't want to merge. They don't want to have separate. They want to have a separate existence and also an existence in union with the Lord. So this is like the Prabhupada used to say, uh, you exist and also you kind of have a perfect alignment with the Supreme Lord, like a circle. When you put a center, you make so many circles around that still one circle does not conflict with other circle. It's a perfect alignment, perfect harmony. So all the waves are perfectly going and perfectly coming. So like that, the devotees, Vaishnavas wants to have a perfect harmony with all the Vaishnavas, and Lord being in the center, they want to exist. Uh, it's like a one heart, but then different, existence, so that we can have a relationship with the Lord. So the relationships, generally the five different varieties of relationships: Santa, Dashya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. These are like five rasas, primary rasas, and there are seven secondary rasas like Hashya, Bhayankara, all of these secondary rasas. So together there is a relishment of relationship in the spiritual world. So here, so Prabhupada is saying how example of sannyasi, right? So sannyasi, if you look at sannyasi, he has three danda, like three rods of sticks tied together and a rope. So these three danda represents the mind, body, and words. So sannyasi makes a vow that with mind, with body, and with words, I'm going to serve the Lord with all my effort. So that's basically the sannyasi. He's fully surrendered from that perspective. So he's always thinking that Gopi Bharta Padakamalayur Das Das Anudas. I'm always an eternal servant of the Lord, a servant of the servant of the servant. That is how the sannyasis thing. By this thought and by the actions, by the deeds, by the words, they completely trying to offer everything to Krishna. So by that, what they are actually gaining, they're becoming free from all the karma bandhanaha. So they are basically achieving Krishna's lotus feet. So in the last verse, Krishna is going to say that those who are actually performing like this, they will surely come to me because they are always thinking of me. So that is the verdict of Krishna and verdict of Shastras and the verdict of all pure Vaishnavas. So here, uh, Prabhupada also explains that for ordinary persons, it is obligatory to execute prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. But although a pure devotee who is completely engaged in the service Lord may sometimes appear to go against the prescribed Vedic duties, actually, it is not so. So we should understand Vaishnavas are very, very careful in not to transgress the Vedic principles. They're always very careful in following the Vedic principles. But sometimes it may look like they are transgressing a Vedic principle, but it is not so because as an ordinary person, we cannot understand a Vaishnava activities. Sometimes it are very complex. Like Narada Muni performs so many leelas that sometimes we go understand why is he going to Kamsa and telling about bad things about Vasudev. So, but there is so many complexities that Narada Muni has so many ideas that he wants to bring Krishna very fast in the material world for liberating Vasudev and Devaki. So for that he actually goes and complains to Kamsa. So like that, there are some things we could not understand. One time, Prabhupada said, he asked one disciple. So here, Nanda Maharaj took his daughter and he gave it to uh, Vasudev, and then Vasudev took the daughter of Nanda Maharaj, and then he kept his son here. Materially, what does it look like? He's trying to save his son, and then and then daughter of Nanda Maharaj, if she's killed by Kamsa, it's okay. Materially it may look like that, but spiritually, we all know that Krishna puts Yogamaya, and then Vasudev takes Krishna over there in Nanda Maharaj, and then the Yogamaya has taken birth as the daughter of Nanda Maharaj, and she comes to Mathura, and then she, gives that form. She vanishes in the air, and then she gives a warning to Kamsa. Right? This is the actual true meaning. There are other aspects of this Leela also, but then from outward angle we may understand something, but internally, Krishna wanted to actually be in the care of Vasudeva and in the Vasudev, in the Yashoda Mai. So all that things we cannot understand. Externally, we may understand something. So that's why the Vaishnava Kriya Mudras are very difficult to understand. Sometimes they may go into a liquor shop to deliver somebody, to give Bhagavad Gita or to preach someone. So we cannot understand what is going on. So like that, even Vaiseshika Prabhu, like Srila Prabhupada's disciple, I've seen when we go Bhakti book distribution along with him, he will take us into different shops. Right next, there could be a shop like a liquor shop. He'll just enter and he'll give Bhagavad Gita. And then the person in the shop, he takes, I've seen myself, he takes and he gives a donation. So it's not appropriate place, but then by his mercy, by his purity, he even wants to purify those kind of people. So like that, we cannot understand Vaishnava's Kriya Mudra. So that's what Prabhupada is making. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is one verse in Madhya Lila. Prabhupada is quoting here. Yanre chitta Krishna prema karaye udaya, tanre vakya kriya mudra vignaya na bhujaya. So even the most learned man cannot understand the words, activities, and symptoms of a person situated in love of Godhead. So this does not basically to say that can do anything and everything, but this is just to make us understand that very elevated Vaishnavas it's very difficult to understand. But mostly the Vaishnavas just behave like a gentleman. They are very much aligned with the Shastras and very much aligned with the Vedas. But we should also understand that, we cannot judge an elevated Vaishnava. So and then Prabhupada finally, he concludes that a person who is thus always engaged in the service of Lord is always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord, to be considered completely liberated at present and in the future, going back to home, back to Godhead. So this is the verdict of Shastras and verdict of Prabhupada. So we may have some jurisdiction of understanding that so and so is elevated, so and so is not elevated. But as long as one is thinking of Krishna and planning how to serve Krishna, how to serve Krishna in variety of like everybody has variety of services. Somebody may be thinking how to serve Krishna by making a nice garland. Oh, this flower and together this flower makes a nice garland. That is also service. Somebody may be thinking how to construct a nice temple. Somebody might be thinking how to dress Krishna beautifully. Every service, but the the central point is that thinking of how to serve Krishna. That engagement is there. So Prabhupada disciples, Prabhupada used to engage them in varieties of services. Somebody will be engaged in printing books, somebody will be engaged in editing them, somebody will be engaged in distributing the books, somebody will be engaged as a temple president, somebody will be engaged as a kirtanier, so many ways that we can serve. But the central point is how to engage in the service of the Lord and always thinking of the planning how to serve the Lord. That is the essence. So such a person, he is above all criticism. We may have some jurisdiction of how this may be, how that may be, but he definitely reaches Krishna, or he definitely reaches the liberation. Liberation means, association with Krishna in any of the four kinds of liberation. That's what Prabhupada means here. So Hare Krishna. So these are some thoughts that's coming to me. Please also share if you have any other thoughts on this verse, beautiful verse.
Prabhuji, can you explain the five liberation one more time, please?
Yes, Mataji. So it's beautifully, the Sanskrit verse itself kind of beautifully tells. So Rupa means form, right? Sarupya means we get the same form of the Lord. Like in the spiritual planet, if you go to Vaikuntha planets, the Lord actually resembles in the four-handed form with the Shankha Chakra Gada Padma form. So he has a beautiful form that in the Mahabharata, Bhishma Deva actually in the Bhishma Deva glorifies the Lord. Sashanka Chakra Sakirita Kundalam Sapita Vastra Sarasiruyekshanam Saharavakshastala Kaustubastriyam Namami Vishnum Sirasha Chaturbhujam. So here's the beautiful four-handed form with the yellow garments, Kastuba, jewel, like that. So that same form the devotees also will have. So if you look at the pastime of the when the Yamadutas came and Vishnudutas came, um, I'm forgetting the devotee's name. What
Jai
Ajamil.
Vijay Prabhu, Jai Vijay Prabhu.
Ajamil pastime, Prabhuji, yeah. So the Ajamil pastime, Mataji, though the Vishnudutas, they come, they resemble with the four-handed form. They look exactly like Narayana. So that is Sarupya Mukti. So, and then there are other aspects of liberation. So the other aspects is sa lokya. So loka means planet. So you live in the same planet as the Lord. Lord lives, like the Vaikuntha planets. And then samipya is basically the
Closeness, nearness.
what, Mataji?
Closeness or nearness, right?
Yeah, closeness. You know, like associate very close. And then the other one is sarsti. Sarsti is opulence, the same opulence like the Lord enjoys. So I think there was one devotee was asking the question, what is the difference? If you live in the same planet, you basically get the same opulence. Um, so what is the nitty-gritties of these, which I don't have an answer, but these are the four aspects of liberation.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for beautifully explaining.
Yeah, sure, Mataji. I think other devotees can share if they have any other understanding. In the fifth chapter, when the four Kumaras enters into Vaikuntha planets, there are beautiful description about what they see. They see actually Vaishnavas going in the aeroplanes along with their consorts. They see beautiful palaces made of jewels like Chintamani, Markota jewels, and all that. So in the fifth canto, we can see that beautiful description.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, very nicely explained. Thank you very much. So, as you're mentioning of the Tanuk Bakko Kriya Mudda Bignena Bhujaya. So, when His Holiness Vishnu Swami Maharaj visited Tampa a few years back, usually the four regular principles, right, we follow. We don't go close to the smoking shop, to the gambling places. But Vishnu Swami Maharaj and his two devotees always there all over the world. They choose to go to the Ivor city here, where even from the street you can feel the smoke and marijuana, everything. And he went inside his shop and made everybody chant, read one time, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, recite with me. So that is the passion, to liberate everyone. It doesn't matter who are they, where are they. We discriminate, but they don't discriminate. So that is um, their passion and their, what is I say, that they feel for the other living entities to make them elevated. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Baladev Seva Prabhu. So that's the extent of Vaishnava's mercy. They are very unlimited mercy. At the cause of their own, sometimes when we go into such places, there is a risk that we take. At the cause of their own risk, they actually they try to liberate others. So when Prabhupada also basically instructed many devotees to preach, some of those devotees ended up in the world, the Arabian countries also, where there is a heavy risk of being, crucified, or they get punished, and at their own risk, they take the preaching as the order of, basically for the love of Srila Prabhupada, they take all the risk and they do it. So, but Prabhupada was very much. He was actually, when he met those devotees back coming from Arabian countries, he hugged them, and he was basically, you're safe. I'm really sorry to putting you at this risk. So generally, as Vaishnavas, we just take the risk on behalf of spiritual master, but spiritual master is basically more careful, more worried about us. So. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Prabhuji. Anybody else would like to share any other thoughts on this verse, devotees?
And another beautiful pastime, Prabhuji, about the Jukta Bodhagga. So when Gauranga Mahaprabhu first met the Raghunath Das Goswami, he wanted to leave, right, his family, but he's not ready yet. And this is the first time he met Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and he's the first person to meet actually Amardas Goswami. But Gauranga said that it is not a perfect time. You stay with your family. And he said the same thing, that মই করবো গুণা করো লোক দেখায়া যথাযুক্ত বিষপুঞ্জ অনাসক্ত হইয়া. The same we see the Bhakti Rashna Sindhudan, there is the Jukta Bragya. And Prabhupada himself showed how to be a Jukta Bragya. Always in the, and Prabhupada said that only devotee should use the plane, nobody else. Because a plane burns a lot of oil, right? Petroleum. So it is a Krishna's energy. You should not waste that much of energy. But only devotees should do this because they are doing the service for the Krishna. Everybody else is getting the punished because they are taking this aeroplane and burning Krishna so much energy unnecessarily. So that is a Prabhupada mindset, how to use the metal things, but for Krishna purpose only.
Yes, yes. Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. So devotees, as a devotees, we generally do not like to do ugra karma, right? This all these activities takes a great effort. Like a plane flying, it takes like thousands of gallons, like gallons of fuel to burn to. So, but it's already there, and we are just trying to make use of that for preaching. So generally, the acharyas they do not like to cross the ocean. They stay in the Bharatvarsha. They try to engage in service of the Lord. But Prabhupada took that risk of, that crossing the ocean means one may forget the Lord. One may, at the time of the moment of death, he may not be actually in the association of Vaishnavas. So he took all kinds of risk. He left Vrindavan. He came to America just to carry on his order of his spiritual master to spread the message in the Western world. So to that extent, he had to take Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita as his, only solace. So he took the risk. He came here and he was basically dancing according to the whatever Lord is actually instructing him. So that way, Prabhupada also was like Baldev Seva Prabhu was explaining. So he was using that time he took the ship, first time Jaladuta, and then after that multiple times. Prabhupada actually rotated the planet 3 times, all the countries, So like at that time it was not an ordinary thing. I don't know if any celebrities also would have done that. At that time the air traveling, one Prabhupada disciple explained that if you have to come to India from America to India, you have to make 3 or 4 stops. You have to get down and then take another plane, get down, take another plane. So like that, it's not like an easy journey in those days. So even in spite of that, at the age of above 70, like 3 times rotating the planet. So that was so in that Narada Muni getting cursed by Daksha, Prabhupada writes in the purport. He writes that I am also cursed by the parents of my disciples. They curse me, my young boy. This person took and he gave sannyas, so they are also cursing me. So that's why I'm also not able to stay in one place. I'm also traveling. Just like Narada Muni got a curse from Daksha, and then he writes that if some of my disciples will take this curse from me, so I can sit down in one place and translate Srimad Bhagavatam. So, so he would like to sit in one place and complete Srimad Bhagavatam, but he would like to transfer that curse to disciples so the disciples can travel all over and preach. So, Prabhupada writes in that purport, same purport. So, but traveling. It's not easy. I'm just traveling a little bit from Baltimore to Tampa. I'm seeing it's a very tough thing to stay in another place. Fortunately, I'm staying in temple by the mercy of devotees, but to stay somewhere else and every somebody's house, it's very difficult. You may get whatever you may get as prasadam, you have to take it. So you cannot say I want this, I want that. So from that perspective, traveling is very difficult. When Prabhupada traveled to London to visit, to meet George Harrison, to meet the devotees there, and for the Radha London Ishwar Temple inauguration, the George Harrison was surprised. How come this person is traveling with just one bag? There's nothing else with him. So simple, he was so attracted by the simplicity of Prabhupada. So Hare Krishnas. Anything else? I think it's 8:59. Any other thoughts, devotees? Yeah, so if there's nothing else, we'll conclude today's session. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
जय
Vanchakalpatarubhyaksha kripa sindhubhya
सिंधुभ्य
eva cha patitanam
पतितानां
pavanebhyo
पावनेभ्यो
vaishnavebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो
namo
नमो
namo.
नमः।
Hare Krishna. Thank
हरे
you.
कृष्ण, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम और ग्लोरीज टू श्रील प्रभुपाद।
Thank you.